we got off to a flying start. It was
really
fantastic. But it went against us a little bit.
Oh, did it?
Because like after about 1 year, we got adjudged the New Zealand's best restaurant by Michael Guy's Eating Out Guide. So it was front page news. Logan Brown's the best restaurant. That was great, but it was also bad. I always remember we all went to the bar and we celebrated. We just drank everything. We're just drinking all the champagne in the bar like crazy. I mean, this is all the team. And I was looking at Brownie and say, "What's wrong, Brownie? Be happy, bro. We got the best restaurant." He said, no. And he just knew that we'd be under pressure because people would be looking at us as the best restaurant and then have a different expectations. Things did start to slow down. Someone from government came and dined. You know, they were head of department and they were leaving and they're treating, you know, their people for a lunch, just spending a normal amount of money. But someone got wind of it and it was front page news, so-and-so wasting taxpayers' money at Logan Brown. We would love to go out, we'd love to go to Logan Brown, but we better not go there, we'll go somewhere else. We don't deserve the best. We'll go to Borgage, we won't go to the best restaurant in town, we'll go to another restaurant. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so it's it put a bit of a negative spin on things for us, and we were put into that. The very best were put into a formal space.
Yes.
And when we're never a formal restaurant. We're a premium, beautiful.
Yeah.
We're beautiful, amazing ingredients, cooked well, amazing team, a beautiful space. That's it.
The Kitchen Day podcast is proudly supported by Boring Oat Milk, taking care of the boring detail so you can focus on the important stuff, like your morning coffee. Today we are delighted to be speaking to none other than hospitality heavyweight Steve Logan. After training at chef school, Steve made his name opening Brer Fox, his first restaurant in Thorndon in 1988, where he employed some iconic Wellington personalities, including Paul Schrader and, of course, Al Brown. In 1996, Steve co-founded Logan Brown alongside Al, transforming the iconic former National Bank building on Cuba Street into a beacon of dining excellence. Over the past almost 3 decades, Logan Brown has not only become a jewel in Wellington's hospitality crown, but also a source of inspiration for businesses along Cuba Street and beyond. Steve brings over 40 years of experience, and his dedication to consistency, community, and sustainability has remained unwavering, even amid the challenges the hospitality industry has faced in recent years. Through it all, Logan Brown has continued to offer a premium and consistently excellent dining experience, standing as a testament to Steve's resilience and the venue's quality. His achievements and contributions were recognised when he was named Wellingtonian of the Year. Join us as we delve into Steve's journey, his insights into hospitality, and the enduring legacy of that incredible restaurant. Please welcome to the chat, Mr. Steve Logan. Steve, if you had to describe beautiful service to a new employee who was coming onto the floor at Logan Brown, what kinds of things would you be telling them?
Well, it all starts with, like we say at Logan Brown, a genuine spirit of hospitality. So you want to have from the heart, you want to feel like the guest wants to feel like they're getting served by someone who really wants to look after them. So like as a server, they want to be generally wanting to look after the guests. And that's the first part. The service is different. The service is, I think, more technical. You know, you've got the ABCs of the service system or the procedure, and then there's having the information to share with the guests to help them make the best decision for their for what they're going to dine. I mean, for what they're going to eat or drink. Yeah, so I think it all starts with a genuine spirit of hospitality. You make people feel really welcome, they're in the right place, and then after that comes the details.
Do you find that hard to recruit for? Like when you're recruiting service staff for Logan Brown, what kinds of things are you looking for in new applicants that maybe aren't on the CV?
Well, there's often a lot on the CV, but definitely meeting that person and looking them in the eye and and just connecting with them and seeing if they're a friendly, warm person. And, if they're that, then we can definitely train them on the systems and the knowledge. So that's definitely the most important thing.
Yeah.
So it's a personality that you're looking for.
Yeah.
It's that special type of person that you're looking for.
Yeah, they could be any type of person, shape, size, any kind of personality, but they want to look after people.
Yep.
They want to care for people.
Yeah.
You can see that in their CV as well, whether they're involved in, their hobbies and sports and what their interests are. You can see whether that sort of person.
Yeah.
So that's what we look for first.
Yeah, we have this metric that we try and use in our recruitment is are they exceptional at least one thing? And that could be sailing, or it could be dancing, or it could be debating. But have they shown that they are exceptional at something? Because being exceptional at something means that they care enough to dedicate themselves to some sort of craft, and that already tells you so much about somebody who's going to be on the floor, because if you can channel that same sense of dedication to service, chances are you're going to get a pretty great host out of that person.
Yeah, sure. No, that makes sense here. They can be exceptional at something. Hopefully they're exceptional at looking after guests.
Yeah. Well, how would you describe your personal service style? And also maybe how it's evolved over the years.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty basic Kiwi bloke, and that's my approach to guests. I just don't be too formal, but I just connect with them in some way, especially with like say if it's someone in the dining room. I'm not on the floor a lot these days, but when I am, it's just understanding what they're there for. If it's an anniversary or birthday or a business occasion, it's like I connect with that. So happy birthday, or it's someone's anniversary, and I can see that and say, yeah.
How has your approach to service evolved over the years? Because obviously, Steve Logan, you associate that with Logan Brown, but you've been in the industry for a very, very long time. I did a bit of reading, a bit of research, which was very interesting. And, we look back to 1988, Brea Fox. So was that one of your first places that you opened?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how was your service approach, I guess, when you look back to when you opened your first place to where you are now at Logan Brown? How has that evolved? How has it changed?
I don't think it would have changed at all, to be honest. But Brea Fox Cafe, I was the chef, and so I had a front of house team, it was a tiny little restaurant, 35-seater BYO restaurant.
Yep.
So I was in the kitchen all the time, and the dining room was just through a swing door. The guests were just there. So I wasn't. But I mean, I did a hotel management course, so I was in the kitchen, I was in the dining room, and I was always comfortable in either place. And in the beginning of my career, I was working as a sous chef in a ski resort in the States, and I was a restaurant supervisor in London, and I cooked in a restaurant up in Östersund in Sweden. So I've been both parts and very comfortable in both departments. So I've got I guess those two viewpoints there. But when you talk about serving, guests in a dining room, I don't think anything's changed. It's just always welcome the guests, make them feel comfortable, and then see what they need, and then deliver it efficiently and in the time they need and to the standard that's required.
Got a lot of that focus on the experience for the customer.
Yeah, it is. It's again, reading what they want, and I mean, if I bring it back to what we're doing at Logan Brown now, we kind of break it down quite a lot. That the guest experience. You talk about that. It's we've got 5 stages of guest experience. I don't know whether this is kind of too technical for you guys.
No,
this is what you're after.
Yeah.
So there's 5 stages in the very first stages before they even the guests get there. It's setting up their experience. It's on one side, looking at their booking and making sure we get all the information we need for their booking. It's the dietary requirements, it's preferences of it could be a seat if they're regular, or if they're going in a hurry, or they're going to it's a celebration, or it's a business deal, or the tourist. We understand what they're after, We might contact them and help them with their parking, or people might ask questions about, what they need to wear if they need to, which is still a ridiculous kind of question these days. If they say, have you got a dress code? And I said, yeah, you can wear a dress if you want, mate. Yeah. Yeah. So that's one aspect of stage one, but it's also making the dining room beautiful. The right temperature, the right lighting, and spick and span, and everything nice and ordered. All the tables, if it's a 3-top, they're actually 3 places at the table, not 2. No wobbly tables. It's for the team getting ready themselves, looking great. Clean uniform, ironed, shiny shoes, and mentally prepared for what's happening, and having checked out the section in the bookings and know what's happening on their section, and in the pre-service meeting, knowing what the big picture for that service is. There's they might be in this section there, but over there's a big group, and we have to get the order in at this time, otherwise it's going to clog up service somewhere else, and so all those things lined up before the guests even arrive. The second stage is that is just the same as I explain this to the team, is you're having some people coming around to your place. Don't you tidy up the house a little bit? Mow the front lawn.
Yep.
Vacuum clean. Put some flowers in a vase, and some beers in the fridge, and clean the barbecue. Get everything ready. Put a little bit of lipstick on, Chris, if you want.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Look, clean shirt at least. So,
yeah.
Yes, I say, why don't we do that for our guests?
Yeah.
Because it's basic hospitality, right?
Yeah.
But these guys are paying to come to our place, so so they've got expectations. So but stage 2 is when the guests step into the restaurant. So Logan Brown, it's in an old bank building, and it it's, I think the bank designed it to be a little bit intimidating because they want to have the power, right? They want your money, or they want to lend you the money. I think people can be, for the first time, a little bit intimidated when they step into that building. I mean, especially, Kiwis go, oh, am I in the right place? It looks a bit fancy for me. How it can be modest, the Kiwis. And so when they step in the door, we want to be right there for them. We don't want to leave them hanging at the front desk, questioning, they're in the right place. So we step up there and give them a big smile and a welcome, and make them feel comfortable straight away. Get them to their table or for bar for a drink, or just make them take their coat, just whatever, just connect with them. And even if the team are got their hands full when they're going past the entrance, at least stop and pause and smile and say, we'll be right with you, then off they go with
that
their
acknowledgement as soon as they come through the door.
Yeah,
very important.
So I see you, I've been seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's that important emotion. Then the third stage is meet my waiter. So that's when the guests get to the section and get to the table, and the waiter's got to get across ASAP to connect with the guest. So even if they're serving over here, they've got to see my next priority is changed. It's not put the order in. Just get over there and say, hi, welcome. I'm going to be right with you if they're in a real hurry. Otherwise, get there and say, then you have that connection. Someone's birthday here, happy birthday. Are you guys from overseas? Welcome to Wellington, whatever it is. First time here, you got to go and check out the fish tank and the bar top, or you got to, but it's just at least connect with them. And then, if we've got those 3 stages right, we set them up before they arrive, meet them at the door, and the waiter gives them a genuine, warm welcome. We're probably going to be sorted after that. If the food takes a wee while to come out, or there's a mistake, or the customers already feel they're welcome there, and they trust us that we're going to look after them. We want to look after them. So I think, but if we stuff up any of those parts, or 1 or 2 of them, then we're in trouble, because the guests will be looking for what's wrong about things from then on. Yeah, so 4th stage is where we deliver the Logan Brown experience. It's the stories about the kai. It's sharing with the guests that the trouble we've gone to source beautiful ingredients and cook it very well. And so it's maybe a bit of stories about kaitiaki, or it's line caught fish, or it's wild venison from Fiordland, just a bit more than just putting the food in front of the guests. So we're what we want to do at Logan Brown, our purpose is to share a taste of our place, everything that makes us proud about New Zealand cuisine and hospitality. So that's the moment where they're learning something about how special our kai is. Story about the pa ravioli, our signature dish, or it is like the venison that's hunted from a helicopter in Fiordland. Those things that people go, wow, New Zealand's pretty good at cuisine.
Yeah.
Pretty good at service. The fifth stage is just looking after the guests to the very end. Even if they're not buying anything anymore, we still want to make them feel welcome and and help them on their next part of their journey, even if it's just to the taxi. But if there's want to know where to go for brunch the next day, we go, you should go to Floriditas, it's awesome. Down the road, or that sort of thing. Yeah, so that's where we've got to in the service. Maybe if you ask that question, Chris, has it changed? Well, I think we know now. I have in my mind, or we have at Logan Brown, what we want to do, and we're measuring our service against these things, against these stages of service, where it's an individual or someone starting off, or when things go wrong, it's hey, we've got to prove on the stage 4. Yeah.
Listening to you talk through the stages, I feel like I've just had the Logan Brown experience right now.
Oh yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I in my memory is my most recent Logan Brown experience, and you guys nailed every step.
Oh, sure.
And you're so right. I mean, first of all, listening to you detail those steps, I think that's awesome that you guys have such a clear and well considered system for service, which can be quite a hard thing to articulate to service staff, that energy and the feeling, because it is a lot of energy and feelings, and lots of people might think there's an element of sort of woo-woo about it. But if you break it down like that and you understand what the guest is experiencing at every stage and why it's important to nail those things, it's just science, really, isn't it?
Yeah. There's like that's one layer that's like it is what we're trying to do for our guests. We promise to give them a taste of our place, our place in New Zealand. But below that, there is all the technical side of things, like how you take an order and how you put it in the point of sale system, and how you put the order into the kitchen, how you call it away, and all these things have to be done technically right as well. Like you can get a robot to do that, right? But the guest experience is the human aspect of it. It's a lot of our team are young. I'm sure it's the same in the industry everywhere, and they haven't dined out a lot, and so for them to experience more premium dining, it's not in their budget, so they don't actually have the empathy a lot of the time for what it is like to be dining in that situation. So it's I could think that sharing that experience with them is trying to help get them there, but it is still work in progress every day, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So how do you do that, Steve? You say there that a lot of your team is very young. They might have experienced the type of service that you want to have at Logan Brown. How do you create that culture? How do you get them to buy into what you want to give to your customers?
It's just reinforcing it again and again and again, and referring to that system, or those steps of service, but also values. We've got that, the 5. We've got our promise, sharing this taste of our place. We've got our 5 stages of service, but they're backed up by our the Logan Brown values. We've got 4 or 5 of them as well. That first, the values, the genuine spirit of hospitality. We have to have people to work with us where that comes from the heart, and it's for the whole team. No, it's not just the front of house team, and it's not just for the guests either. It's for each other. Sure, we've got to welcome the guests and be kind to them, because they're paying the money, they're paying the bills, right? But that sense of hospitality has to be for each other as well, for other members of the team, and it's not just front of house team, but every member of the team. and it doesn't matter what their position is. It's a KP or whatever. It's the same spirit of hospitality for the owners. But it's also for people who supply us, delivery guys, someone who's come to fix us, someone who wants a direction or use a toilet. We just say they're inside our building. We are nice to them. We're kind to them. We make them feel welcome. So that spirit of hospitality has to be in our organisation, and otherwise we can't deliver those 5 stages of service. Yeah. And then other value is the value of consistency. So Logan Brown's been open a few years now,
Yeah.
and the reason we're still surviving is because people trust our brand. They know if they go to Logan Brown with their special occasion or the anniversary or the business deal or whatever it is, they can trust Logan Brown. It's probably going to be pretty good, and most of the time we're pretty good. And so it's really important from a business point of view to have trust in our brand. It's just the way we like to operate as well. Actually, I can't stand it, up and down, people up and down, or things sometimes work and sometimes not, when they can be running pretty well all the time. Yeah. So to get that consistency, we've got 2 aspects. Jesus, I sound like a bloody lecturer now, but it's what I've said to so many times. But we've got 2 aspects. We've got professionalism. We've got to have professional team. So professional, team that are well presented. They come to work with a positive attitude, focus for what's going to happen, the next service coming up, look good, feel good, and ready to go. And also professional in communications. They let us know when they've got problems. Don't bitch to their mates, bitch to us. We can do something about it. Or if it's, sometimes you can have some team not getting on well with another team, and they're miserable. They let us know. We can sort it out. Yep. That's my role, to sort that kind of stuff out. I like to have harmony. I really feel I love harmony happening, in the business, and everyone working well and everything going well. And I'm quite sensitive to when things aren't right. So I like to kind of fix those up. So having people let me know what's going on helps me sort those things out. But just that consistency, one half is that professionalism, and the other half is our systems. So talking about the way we do something at Logan Brown, a system is the best way we know how to do something, and it matches up with our funny bank building and different levels, and it matches up with the guest experience we want to deliver, or it's the layout of the kitchen, it's the menu aspects or whatever it is. So we've got lots of systems of how we do things, and so if we have all our team, professional team, using our systems, then we're going to be able to deliver the guest experience we're after. But just coming back to where I started with this is that how we reinforce all this as a team. Well, if things go really well, it's because we've got a fantastic spirit of hospitality and our systems are going really well, and people being professional, or we're being consistent. But if things aren't going well, I'm getting complaints through the email or on TripAdvisor or whatever, I can straight away see that someone hasn't, had
Followed
that spirit
system.
of hospitality,
Yeah.
or hasn't followed a system.
How did
It's
you
always
guys?
those things, yeah.
How did you guys? What was COVID like for you?
It was a shocker. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was. Yeah.
I'm really interested to know. I mean, we all went through the exact same circumstances, but with all of the everything that you're saying about the harmony and the systems and the consistency, COVID pulled the rug for us in a massive way. I would I'd love for you to just tell us that story. What was COVID like for you guys, and then what was it like after?
Yeah, it was just an absolute shocker. We thought it was all over. We thought the business was all over, and we're just looking at the worst case scenario. And we, as my business partner, Sean Clouston and Debbie Jones, and they've been part of the business for a long, long time. Probably of the 30 years, Sean 25 years, and Deb even more. So Deb's a financial controller and Sean's chef partner. Yeah, so when shit hits the fan, we get our heads together and sort stuff out, and that's what we did. even though we're over the phone talking about stuff. We just looked at the worst case scenario. Well, we were shut, right? Everything was shut down, and we thought we've got to open sometime. We've got to get through it sometime. And what would the worst case scenario be? Like turnover wise, we looked at how many guests would we get per day and how much they're going to spend, and let's match everything to that. So match everything team wise, and match everything, well, how many days we're going to be open, and how many services we're going to do, and what team do we need to match that. And then we started restructuring. So we decided to be just open 5 nights a week instead of 6, and no lunches, and just really simplify. We simplified our menu, rather than we had about 4 or 5 menus. Yeah, we had a pre-theatre bistro menu, we had an a la carte menu, a 3-course set menu for groups, and then we had a chef's choice menu. So we had 4 menus operating all at the same time, so that was really complex. We just said, let's just do one menu, and it's fixed price, and 3 courses with choices. So having set that up, then we unfortunately had to start restructuring the team. We made quite a few redundant. That was a hell of an ordeal. Did you do that?
We did do that.
Yeah.
It was maybe one of the hardest things I've ever been through as a business owner ever. It was terrifying and soul-destroying and full of shame, and I wouldn't wish it upon anybody to do it in amidst that environment full of fear and uncertainty too. So it wasn't even, a restructure under normal circumstances.
That's right. A lot of the time you're doing it by phone or by email.
Horrific.
Yeah.
Zoom was a new thing for all of us, and we were having these life-changing chats, and not good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially team that been with you for many, many years, and real trusted, loyal friends, you call them. Yeah, it was tough. And then and like our we didn't get into hospitality because we wanted to be lawyers, eh?
That's right.
But that's pretty much, we had to do with this hard out HR stuff.
Yeah.
It was really tough. Yeah, I think that's one thing over all the years is how we've had to. You start off as a simple hospitality person, and then you get into business, and then business is getting has been getting really complex every year. It's just been, the compliance, and you have to be spending so much of your time working on all these legal aspects or compliance aspects, and not having so much fun cooking or serving.
Yeah, I think that's been a universal truth for restaurant owners, is that in that post-COVID experience, reluctantly, we've all had to add a lot more feathers to the hat in terms of what we can do and how we approach business, knowing so much more about the ins and outs of recruitment and systems building and financial data and the bottom line. And for us, I would love to know if this was your experience, but for us, it was so all-encompassing and so scary coming out of COVID, being back in business, and how different that looked. Remember it seems like years ago, but it wasn't even that long, wearing masks, scanning vaccine passes at the front door, table spacing. We had to stop buying newspapers at the restaurant because people didn't want to be touching things that other people had touched, sanitizing the salt and peppers after every table. It was just a completely different time.
Yeah.
And I think for us, in a way, we almost took our eye off the hospitality piece for a little bit because we were so consumed with survival and trying to follow all these new rules, because so many aspects of COVID were completely counter to our bread and butter, which is welcoming people at the front door with open arms. You couldn't do that anymore.
Yeah. No, that was really difficult, transitioning through all that. But it was also, I was really excited because we came from a place of being shut down and, there was nothing. And
Yes.
then it was, now we're up and going
Running.
again.
Yes.
And all the team were like really excited to be back in business and really glad to be there. And, I guess they went through a real stressful time as well. And the guests were so delighted to be out and about themselves, and they just were so happy to be dining and eating
Yes.
and enjoying it. And they had their extra bit of cash they'd saved up because they couldn't spend, and so they were,
Revenge dining.
yeah, revenge dining. Yeah, so I just only feel joy.
Yeah.
And it was really busy and we did our budgets. We thought this is a worst case scenario, but we smashed it.
Amazing.
And then within weeks we're recruiting again and building up.
Did
We
you
had that
recruit?
human interaction back, right? That we all craved. Hospitality, that's what we love, right? That's
Yeah.
that human interaction.
Yeah.
So having that back was it was reinvigorating. It was like, yes.
Yeah, it was.
awesome.
It was. I would say that through that time that we did Logan Brown at Yours, was we did a made up meal packs, and we delivered it to the people at home. So we had the kitchen team through COVID lockdowns. We were preparing amazing 3-course dinner packs, and then packing them all up, and I delivered them in my station wagon.
Any reason to get out of the house?
It was, yeah. So that was awesome, connecting even this
Yeah.
distance away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With guests, and they were part of our community, I guess. They were in
Yeah.
our database guests, if you could say. So that was fun because you could, they were like grinning ear to ear.
Here's Steve
seeing-
Logan on the end of my driveway.
Getting the food, and then I could see in the window, beautiful tables with flowers and candles, and
Yeah.
I saw and some the kids dressed up as waiters, going to serve the food. That was really heartwarming.
Yeah.
Those experiences. But we had our kitchen team were cranking away in the kitchen in shifts, to keep apart, and then we had people were also doing some collecting from the front door of the dining room, and so we were doing stuff. We're still connecting, but it's nothing like lights on at Logan Brown, music on, and
Yeah.
guests coming in and creating that community.
Yeah.
But you
of
keep
people.
that connection going, though.
Yeah,
and that's the important.
It did.
That's the
We did
important thing.
exactly. Yeah, and people could see we were, our community could see what we were busy and we're doing stuff, and they wanted to support that as well.
Yeah, and they would really have appreciated that because I think about hospitality. Sometimes when you interact with people, it might be the one interaction they have that week. And seeing Steve Logan walk up the driveway with a 3-course meal, it's like, oh my gosh, this is. Yep, it was probably like Christmas, mate.
Yeah,
You know?
it was fun. It was Christmas for me. I felt like Santa. Honest, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Steve,
but
can-
you're right. You're right. Just on that that hospitality thing. Yeah, I think it's probably maybe taken a bit for granted. What restaurants and cafes and bars do, and bringing the community together, and just being part of the lunch service,
Yeah.
part of what everyone else is up to, and that I think that's something we give a lot. We provide that, and it's a shame that our industry is under so much pressure because that's what when another restaurant closes down, that community's gone as
Do you
well.
think people just take it for granted? That it's just their right to be able to come to a hospitality site. They don't appreciate what they're receiving.
Yeah, I think there's probably a bit of just a lack of consciousness of it. Yeah, it's not a deliberate thing. I think it's just, when it's gone, when a place is gone, they go, oh God, I used to love going to that place. It's a shame it's closed now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's and also what those restaurants do, in that community as well. They've got people supplying them, or local kindergartens or schools they might give a voucher to they're giving back. A lot of
Yeah.
hospitality restaurants cafes will give back a lot to community. It would be unseen as well.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
we've got that spirit of hospitality. We're giving.
Yeah.
We can't say no.
That's right.
What's going on.
Steve, can you take me back to, in your own words, how does a down-to-earth Kiwi bloke catch the hospitality bug?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I caught it, but when I was a little kid, I used to wake up early, and I'd go and make my parents a cup of tea or coffee in bed. And I just, even if I just put the coffee in the, instant coffee in the cup, and I got the hot water from the tap, I'd take it into them and they'd be really wrapped.
Yeah.
And then, then I upped my skills and boiled the kettle and I made them for my brothers, and then I started making toast and for them as well. And
Where'd you grow up?
this was when I was in Upper Hutt. Mm-hmm. I was born in Auckland, but I lived in Upper Hutt when I was about 5. So I might have been 6 or 7 or something, started doing that. And then Mum was a really awesome cook. Mm-hmm. And I used to help her a bit. And I used to, I made breakfast and beer for people. I just liked as much the puzzle of putting ingredients together and cooking it, and then I also enjoyed delivering and how it made people happy. Mm-hmm. And I felt I was appreciated, and they were grateful. So, but after that, I was having that in me. But when I was studying at school and everything, I thought I might want to be a vet, and I was doing physics and biology and chemistry, and I was bloody useless at it because you had to apply your mind to that. You had to study that. Yeah. So I wasn't going anywhere. But then my brother was, my mum was trying to find something for my brother to do, and she had all these brochures out on the table and said, "Oh, you should do this, Steve." And it was a hotel management course, and after that it was like, yeah.
You found your place.
Yeah, I found my place. Yeah. I would add in that the old man Baz used to work for IBM, it's an international company, and we lived in New York, in America for a couple of years. So we stayed, getting there and coming back a few times. We stayed in a lot of hotels and we ate out a lot. And I'm talking the 70s, so people didn't do a lot in those days, but so I was exposed to some pretty cool stuff and experiences in hospitality, and I really loved that. So when I saw this hotel management course, the penny dropped, and I said, "Oh yeah, that's definitely one I want to do." But I was always interested in the food and beverage, not the accommodation side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was always focused on those.
So then it was chefing that first piqued your interest.
Yeah.
Cooking.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you got yourself into a kitchen.
Well, when I finished school, I was I worked a summer in a hotel as a kitchen hand, and I really loved it. It was a hotel, and it was big stuff, big pots. Everything was big. Everything was like huge volume, and it was a tough environment. But I really enjoyed it. I only cried a few times when the chef was mean to me, but I learned a lot. And when I started doing the hotel management course, the first year was a lot of food and beverage, so I was very comfortable in the kitchen. I was streets ahead of everyone else because of that industrial experience. And so, I just really enjoyed that. But when I travelled overseas, I worked in wherever I can get a job. My first job was a restaurant supervisor in a big London hotel. And it was a hell of experience for a 21 or 22-year-old Kiwi. Everyone else was, like the next youngest person was 27 years old, and he was from Lebanon. And then there was, other than that, there was all different ages of people all around the world, including 3 Irish women, Mary, and Mary. And they're all in their 50s. So I was just a young, ignorant kid from the other side of the world, and I was their boss. So they trained me up big time.
I bet they did.
Yeah, I made a lot of mistakes there, and I learned a heck of a lot. So, but I really loved that. But,
so at 21, you already knew that this would be your career?
Yeah, well, the course started when I was 18. Yeah, so I'd already done 3 years, and I worked in Cobb & Co, and I worked, in another, a Russian restaurant called Cafe Izbar, run by this crazy guy called Terry, who he was an entrepreneur, but he wasn't a hospitality person. But I learned a lot there, and I thought, gee, if this idiot could run a restaurant, I could have my own restaurant.
Yeah.
And I then started believing, even at that age, that I could have my own place.
Is that when you made the transition from kitchen to front of house? Because it's very unusual. You either do one or the other. Yeah. I don't know. There's only a few people that I know of who have made that transition. Yeah. When did you make the transition, and why? Why did you decide to step out of the kitchen?
Well, I chopped and changed. It was at Cafe Izbar I was working in the kitchen. At Cobb & Co I was working in the kitchen. And then when I finished tech, I did about 6 months working in a liquor store as in front of house. Salesperson. And then when I went over to London, I was restaurant supervisor. Then I went over to the States, and I worked in a ski resort, was in the kitchen as a chef. And then in Sweden, I worked as a chef. So I know just comfortable in either place. I just got whatever the job was in front of me. And then when I came back to New Zealand, I worked for independent taverns, and I was straight into management. I was assistant manager then. I was the manager of the Western Park Tavern that had 3 bars and a bottle store and a restaurant. So that was awesome experience for me, because this small chain had really good systems, and the same systems across the 3 taverns, and they had the same kind of market, but in different parts of town. Like the Western Park Tavern was Thorndon, and Greta Point was, over in Greta Point over there by the airport, and they were on the edges of dry areas.
Yeah.
So there was no licenses except in those western suburbs or the eastern suburbs there, so that people would come from those suburbs and go to the pub on the edge of the city. So it was just quite different times. And even that Western Park Tavern, it had the public bar, which was full of students from Victoria University or Teachers College in Karori. And then it had some people working in the breweries and industry, so the blue-collar workers. And the public bar and the Gillespie's bar, they had sort of white-collar workers working in, in that area. Then they had more fancy people in the conservatory bar, where jazz and cocktails and...
So you're looking after a full spectrum of the dining public.
Yeah, and you had to be that fine-tune my ideas of systems, because I knew I had to run this big place, as it was all about the people. So I got a pod of people working in the public bar, and appointed one person as a leader of the public bar team, and one person of Gillespie's, and there was a leader of that team, and conservatory as well. Then I worked with those leaders to help them run that bar. So it's pretty well organised, and I picked some good, strong people, and they kicked ass, and everyone respected them, and things ran really well. But we had a good security team as well, so we're so busy. We had lots of bouncers, and they kept everything under control. But it was that busy, it was absolutely pumping, so you could have good resources and fine-tune things and make things run well. So when you haven't got good revenue and you haven't got the resources, things get really tough.
Yeah.
Like the current markets today. For us guys in our industries, it's really tough.
So tell me about the springboard into. So now you're working at these for independent taverns, and you've got an epic amount of responsibility, and you're feeling, like a boss. Tell me about the leap from there into ownership.
My ambition was always to have my own restaurant.
Yeah.
Even from when I was just 20, when I worked especially when I worked for this cafes bar, I thought, this guy can do it.
Yeah.
I can, So, but then I know when I came back from overseas, absolutely broke, and I wanted to work for other organisations that had systems and learn from them and start getting some money. And I looked at some hotel chains, and I went up, like big international ones, and I went up to for some interviews in Auckland, and I just didn't really like the way the interview process. I remember I was really pissed off because they kept me waiting 45 minutes without saying, hey, sorry, we got really busy, we couldn't talk to you right at the moment, can you come back? Just sat there, I thought, bugger you.
Yeah.
And when they came and interviewed me, I still went through the interview, and they said, we want to give you the job. And I said, you're not going to have me, mate. And so, but I went back to Wellington, but my old rugby coach, he worked for independent taverns, and he twisted my arm into working for him. So, but I knew they had good systems, and so I wanted to learn off them. And that aspect of my experience I didn't really have. So then, but I always wanted to have my own place, and the time was right for me to leave independent taverns for 2 reasons: that they were bought out by Lion Breweries, but also one of the regulars, he he was a builder, and he was converting a dairy into a restaurant, and I said that'll be me.
Where was it?
That was the Brea Fox. It was down by Wellington Girls College on Molesworth Street.
Right.
Now it's a chippery.
Right.
Yeah, but it was a sweet little operation because it was still a shell when I got involved in the setup, and it had the restaurant was downstairs with the kitchen, and upstairs a narrow little staircase. Upstairs was a little apartment. Well, it was a bedroom and a toilet and a shower and a little lounge area. So I could live upstairs and work downstairs.
Ideal.
So as a business model, I didn't have, I hope there's no one in the tax department listening here, but I didn't have any living expenses whatsoever.
Yeah.
And work was just downstairs. So
What an opportunity.
yeah, it was awesome. And I could create it from scratch. So I did a New Orleans theme, Cajun, Creole Cajun food.
That must have felt amazing, like the accomplishment you must have felt from working for people all of your career to having your own place.
I never forget, we opened for lunch, and I never forget after that lunch service, we might have done like 15 people or something. And there's, and we didn't have a till, there was just like a little bread basket. And then I pulled out a little bread basket, this check, the Brea Fox Cafe, $22 or something. I said, shit, someone's paid me money
Wow.
to serve them food. Yeah.
Yep.
I just couldn't believe it. Yeah.
That's the best feeling in the world, right?
Yeah, it was unreal. Yeah.
So you're 20, how old are you at this stage? 20?
Oh, no, I'm 26
27?
or 27, yeah.
And you own your own place.
Yeah.
Incredible. How'd you get the funding?
I said, oh man, if you give me a loan. Yeah. I had a bit of money saved up. It was through the 80s. Remember, it was the money market was going crazy.
Yes.
And I might have had about $2,000 or $3,000. And I bought some shares.
Right.
It was actually crazy times in the public bar. There was like all these blue collar workers, factory workers. There were members of gangs. There were V8, not bikies, but they had V8 cars. Anyway, and there was all these students, and the students we know from a different walk of life, and the blue collar workers. They're all talking about shares. They're talking about sports, but they're talking about the share market, and it's amazing. But I think it was my brother. I said, oh, I've got this money. What should I invest in these shares? And I invest in these shares, and like $3,000 turned to $12,000.
Wow.
Over about 3 years, over about 10 months or something like that. So I had this money, and I borrowed a bit extra, and it got me going. I mean, things were really cheap. I think I borrowed $27,000, and I paid it back in 3 months.
Outstanding.
I mean, were you sole owner, Steve, or did you have a business partner to help you run the place?
Yeah, I was sole owner, but my girlfriend at the time, who ended up being my wife, she was my partner.
Yeah. How was that working with your partner?
She was
and
awesome.
partner.
She was awesome. She looked after the front of house, and I looked after the kitchen. And
So
we
you're
did
cooking.
everything.
You were cooking at the Brea Fox.
Yeah, I was the chef.
Yeah.
And we had one other chef and a kitchen hand, which is your mate Paul. He was a KP there for 3 or 4 months while he was studying at Paul from
Paul
Rita.
Schrader from
Paul
Rita.
Schrader,
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it interesting how Wellington has all these links?
Yeah, he was at Teachers College, and he was working part-time, yeah.
Wow.
He was very popular with the waitresses. Yeah. He was a good man. He
So
was
now-
awesome working. Yeah.
So now you've got your own place. You're the head chef. You're building a reputation in Wellington. Tell me about when Al Brown walks through the door.
Oh, right. So, Brownie was Al Brown. Yeah, he was working for me with me at the Western Park Tavern. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was mates with the son of my boss,
Right.
And he got him a job there. Yeah, so he came along. He's a bit of larrikin, but he's a top man. We became friends straight away. Very similar values and great interests in sports and having a good time. and attention to detail and stuff. Yeah, so he was he's assistant manager at Western Park Tavern.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where we became mates. But when I left the Western Park Tavern, then he left as well. Mm-hmm. He did a bit of travelling overseas, and then when he came back, he worked at Bray Fox for a while, and then he went back and did a fancy chef's course in the States.
Right.
Yeah, so he was he was making mud cake and stuff for me when I was at the Bray Fox. But then we kept in touch while he was overseas, and I got while he was studying over there, I got another restaurant called Cafe Lafitte in Oriental Bay. So I had 2 restaurants at the same time there. I thought, I'll forget another restaurant, I'll make twice as much money, but I just made twice as much trouble.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors.
The Kitchen Day podcast is proudly supported by Upstock. So much of our industry runs on good vibes, but there are corners of our industry that will only thrive with the help of smart tech, and that's Upstock. If you buy or sell wholesale, Upstock is a game changer for your business. It has all of your invoicing, ordering, payments, and logistics in one place. You are going to save hours in your day. To find out more, head to upstock.app.
All right, and now back to the chat.
Yeah. So, but Brown, while we're talking, we communicated overseas and across the world, and we said we'll do something together one day. So, after many years, we did.
So, Bria Fox, the lady running the front of house, later becomes your wife.
Yeah.
Then you have 2 daughters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
We
then-
had one restaurant, and then over about 2 years, 3 years, we had end up with 2 restaurants, 2 kids.
2 kids.
Yeah, and a mortgage.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot to carry.
It had a lot of pressure. That's probably why our relationship didn't last. We got divorced, unfortunately, just before we opened Logan Brown.
So Logan Brown in the beautiful old National Bank building on Cuba Street. Was that a site that you and Al had your eye on? How did that come about?
No, that stage was, in the late 90s. I'd already sold Bria Fox Cafe, and I was selling Cafe Lafitte, and so I was in touch with real estate agents, all the time. I had the guy who was communicating with, and I had a buyer for Cafe Lafitte was good, and he said, "Oh, Steve, we've just come out of this meeting, real estate meeting, and I sold bank buildings come up for on the books." We said, "Oh, let's go and have a look at that." And we couldn't believe it. We walked in the front door. We're still operating bank, but it was just such a beautiful space. It's a wow factor space. And then we actually, the first time we went in there, we weren't accompanied. We just looked in the door. It was the bank, and we're looking around, and the security guy came over and said, "What are you guys up to?" Because
You and Al, you and Al.
Yeah. But then we went accompanied by agent, and we could see that in the old bank vaults, a prep kitchen space, and as well as its obvious beauty for a dining room.
Yes.
But we saw that was admin area. There's like a lot of space to spread out, and then staff rooms, and then up a spiral staircase. It was a mezzanine floor that was closed off from the dining room, but we could see that could be opened up, and for a private dining room, we're just like, yeah, tick, 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 and we straight away, without thinking anything, we said, yeah, we'll take it.
I mean, it is a beautiful building
Yeah.
set, but I remember what Cuba Street was like in the 90s. How did you know that Logan Brown was going to be a success?
We didn't even think about it.
So you
We're
said
just so confident. We're
Yeah.
just so gung-ho. We just went for it. Yeah.
So you said we'll take it. What happened next?
Yeah, there was quite a lot of... Then it was sell the house.
Right.
Yeah. And then it was a really nice house in High Tide, actually. Sell insurance policy. Life insurance policy.
Yeah.
It
Is
was-
this
it
to
was-
free up funding so
Yeah,
that you could
to
pay
get-
for this
Yeah,
opportunity?
to pay for this opportunity, yeah. And then it was like Al, he was doing, likewise, or borrowing money from family. And then, because we didn't even think about the risk or anything. We said, wow, this is awesome. This is going to be great. And we just I think we got possession in the beginning of October 1996, and then we built the restaurant and opened by the 13th of December. So that was just over 10 weeks from a bank to a 70, 80-seater restaurant with a commercial kitchen.
I know Logan Brown has been an incredible success over the last 30 years, but if you could go back to that moment again, would you do anything differently?
No.
Just jump in, both feet.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was, we had a lot of stuff go away. Like we had an awesome builder, designer, this guy called Trace Murdoch. Unfortunately, he's passed away now. He's a top man, and he had some real larrikin character builders working with him, or tradies, and they just put so much in. You know, they were just incredible, very creative, and did some amazing things. And you know, just all that energy and that passion that just sort of came together.
Yeah.
You just couldn't do it again. You know, I think we did it all for $600,000, which is a hell of a lot of money in those days.
Yeah.
But you look at what a beautiful, beautiful space it is, and it was really, really well set up, and a lot of that's there is still there.
It's
still working.
Arguably the most beautiful dining room in the whole of New Zealand, I would say.
Yeah. So setting up Logan Brown with Al, how did you decide on your roles? Like, did Al just decide to kick you out of the kitchen, or how did you set that up?
Yeah. We had this arrangement that he would start in the kitchen and I'd start in the front of house, because I had that front of house experience as well, but also like general owner's experience. So Brownie just focused on the kitchen, and we supported each other. I mean, he's a very creative guy, and he was fantastic, and and he had international experience as well, working overseas, and he contributed so much to the design of all aspects of the restaurant, the layout, and everything about the dining experience for the guests. He wasn't just looking at plant and equipment. Yes, so we just got on. We just worked from dawn till midnight every day for those 10 weeks, with the tradies as well. We wanted to be open before Christmas. We didn't want to miss that opportunity. So then eventually he wanted to come out front, and I wanted to go into the kitchen, but it just didn't work out like that. That was a bit of a dumb idea, really. But it was, in the end, I was just out the front all the time, and he was in the kitchen. But we got other, like Sean Clouston, my business partner now. He started about 3 or 4 weeks after we opened on New Year's Eve on the grill, on the saute. I think it was.
How was he on the grill?
How was he?
It was quite a hectic time.
Wow.
But he was up to sous chef leading the kitchen soon after, and in a year or so afterwards. And Brownie and I we started doing other bits and pieces as well. Over our time at Logan Brown, we diversified, if you could say, doing other things.
But just to give some perspective for people listening who maybe haven't been to Logan Brown or don't know its legacy, you guys were pumping from day one, like absolutely gangbusters all the time. It was a runaway success. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, it definitely was to start with, because it was there weren't that many restaurants in Wellington, so it was a new thing, and it was and we did a great job. We really did. It was amazing food and a fantastic space, and we had some really great collaborators, helping us, like Francois Fevrier, he's a local he's our restaurant manager. He was fantastic. He was a real character and real personality, and we had some great other great characters working for us as well, in the kitchen. We had to transition through our front of house team, because opening a restaurant at the and beginning in the middle of December, it's really hard to get team. So we had some real we had some crazy team there, but we got a really good team soon. But to answer your question, we got off to a flying start. It was really fantastic, but it went against us a little bit.
Oh, did it?
because like after about 1 year or even less, we got adjudged the New Zealand's best restaurant by Michael Guy's Eating Out Guide. And so it was front page news. Logan Brown's the best restaurant. And that was great, but it was also bad. I always remember we were in the, we all went to the bar and we celebrated. We just drank everything. We're just drinking all the champagne in the bar like crazy. I mean, this is all the team, like 20 of us or something like that. And I was looking at Brownie and say, "What's wrong, Brownie?" And he's like, "Be happy, bro. We got the best restaurant." He said, "No, no, no." And he just knew that we'd be under pressure because people would be looking at us as the best restaurant, and then have a different expectations.
Yep.
And also it was interesting that and we did a study about this because things did start to slow down, and we had some quite a few negative things happen, like someone from government came and dined. You know, they were head of department and they were leaving, and they're treating, you know, their people for a lunch to spending a normal amount of money, but someone got wind of it and it was front page news, so-and-so wasting taxpayers' money at Logan Brown, you know, and then that put off everyone who had a, you know,
well, now
an
you're
expense
implicated.
account, and no, we don't want to be seen by the accountant or by the board of directors by spending money at Logan Brown. No, that's not on, and that sort of thing changed, and it happened, and people go, well, the times got a bit tough, the economy got a bit tough, and so we better not. We would love to go out, we'd love to go to Logan Brown, but we better not go there, we'll go somewhere else. We don't deserve the best. We've got a mortgage. We won't go to the best restaurant in town, we'll go to another restaurant. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, totally.
Yeah, so it's it put a bit of a negative spin on things for us, and we were put into the very best. We were put into a formal space.
Yes.
And when we're never a formal restaurant. We're a premium, beautiful. We're beautiful, amazing ingredients, cooked well, amazing team, a beautiful space. That's it.
I was going to say the formality thing is interesting with Logan Brown because it's not how I remember the space. I was taken to Logan Brown on a date in 2006. And
quality guy.
It didn't last. But I remember coming to Wellington. It's a really interesting story, actually. The only time I'd been to Wellington before we eventually moved here in 2020. We went to two places. We went to Floriditas. We were staying at the Hippopotamus at the at the hotel. But we went to Floriditas, and then I know that night I knew that we had a booking at Logan Brown, and I was really excited because in 2006, Logan Brown was still arguably the best restaurant in New Zealand. Everybody talked about it. It was really hard to get a booking. And I remember walking in and it feeling like a nightclub. The lights were really low. The music was pumping. It was so busy.
Oh, yeah.
I just remember the bar was like 2 people deep. I had no idea where our table would be because there were just people everywhere. And we got, it might even have been you, Steve, I don't know, but we got taken through to our table, and it was sort of towards the back of the restaurant, this cozy little corner. And I just remember feeling like this is one of the most exciting dining rooms in New Zealand. It was just so...
we should go back there.
It's so interesting. Like when do you think that formality tag was applied to Logan Brown? Because it didn't... it certainly didn't feel formal.
It was right. I think it was right then when we got that Michael Guy's dining, a best restaurant. I think it was then. It was and like we were aware of that could be a risk when we opened, and we went to lengths to say in our marketing it was Logan Brown was easy on formality. We said it up front. What do we say? It was we said was probably wrong, but we said we're serious about food but easy on formality. We cared a lot about what we're doing, but we want to make it a fun place to be. We want to have people laughing and having a great time. Yeah. So, but what we had to do is after that, you know, where things were going bad, things changed for us early on, and we had to make some changes, and we didn't get someone to do a survey for us, and they did an in-depth survey with a small group of our guests, of our customers, and asked lots of questions, and we realised we had to change things around quite a bit to change the perception, and that's where we relocated the first thing we did. We relocated the bar that was from where you would have dined in that back end corner. Used to have a little bar there, and we created a bar right at the entranceway, and we made it a fun bar by, you know, putting the saltwater fish tank on the top, and a wine library, and focus on cocktails, so people could just go straight in the doors and be in a bar. And that's probably what happened to you when you went in there.
So you were really trying to informalise what felt like a really formal service?
Yeah, and we, because before when you first stepped in, there was a reception counter right. You step in and you hit the reception counter. We moved that aside. There was a barrier to people coming in, and we opened up the bar, so go straight to the bar and feel relaxed and comfortable. We, you know, we changed our logo. It made it less formal. We changed our font, just little things like that. But also we changed our story and our narrative. And, you know, when we would talk about genuine spirit of hospitality, and the first, you know, the second stage of guest experience, meeting them at the door, all these things became part of what we do, because we wanted to negate any people thinking they're coming into a formal, serious place. Yeah, all our communications changed to get away from that, but people still see us as, if we're considered the best in some ways, or one of the top places, they figure it must be formal as well. And fine dining, I hate that word, fine dining.
Yeah. When you look back to those early days, Steve, is there any dishes that you were serving that really stick out in your mind?
Like extravagant dishes, or we were talking about it the other day actually. Of course, there's the pie ravioli. Everyone knows about the pie ravioli dish, but I remember one dish which was pretty special. Because we're thinking about this, it's top of mind because it's our 30th year next year, and we wanted to bring back some of those dishes over the 30 years we've been open, special ones. And this one was crayfish tail, like poached crayfish tail, slices on the plate, and then had a little bit of crayfish mayonnaise in the middle of those slices, like you would, like, say, carpaccio, and then on top of that was a pile of sautéed whitebait. So whitebait, lightly dusted in flour and seasoned, and the butter, and piled up on top of the crayfish. So it's like really doubling down on the seafood, and a little bit of lemon olive oil and a little bit of red wine vinegar syrup just around that. It looked absolutely beautiful, but it was simple but super extravagant and delicious.
Yeah.
I think at the time it was like, well, it was pretty expensive. I think if we did that as a special dish next year, it'd probably be $45 or $50 as an entree.
What's the cogs on that one?
Yeah. So you're celebrating your 30th birthday next year.
Yeah, we're going to have like a 30th year. We've got some stuff on the drawing board to make the most of that.
Yep.
So you've been at the helm of Logan Brown for almost 30 years. You started with Al. Al stepped away. What was that like for you? And what was the next? How did you get through the next chapter?
I talked about my business partners, Sean Clouston and Debbie Jones, who've been part of the organisation for a long time, and it was a very easy transition with these guys being already part of the business and becoming shareholders. So from that, if that's what you mean, is this how we did this?
Yeah, because Logan Brown was, it's you. It's, you know, certainly at the start it was you and Al.
Yeah.
And then when Al stepped away, the restaurant's still called Logan Brown. You must have felt a huge amount of responsibility to keep it going.
Yeah. It wasn't a problem at all, to be honest. It was, I know, in some way it was a bit of release, a bit of relief, because it was just, I was the leader and didn't have to consult with anyone else as well, and how we ran things, but it didn't miss a beat because we just kept on doing what we're doing, and with the same key people who were in the business, but also became business partners. So it was, it was easy. Yeah, well, I wouldn't really miss a beat.
Yeah. We'll just pause for a minute to thank some sponsors. The Kitchen Day podcast is proudly supported by Dropper. Dropper takes the chaos out of scheduling with smart, skills-based rostering that helps you get the right people on at the right times. Less stress, fewer shift swaps, and way smoother service. If you run a busy team, Dropper will save you hours every week and a whole lot of headaches. Find out more at dropper.com.
All right, and now back to the chat.
We won Cuisine Restaurant of the Year in 2010. So he would have been out of the operation for 18 months or something like that before then. So we became Restaurant of the Year in his absence, you could say. And so maybe that had something.
Just the start of that new chapter.
It's like Logan Brown was already what it was without particular people.
Totally.
The restaurant for 30 years, and I know you do have other restaurants as well, but just focusing on Logan Brown and the customers that you have coming in there, can you tell me how have customers' habits changed over these, their dining habits, their drinking habits? How has that, I guess, moulded the business into what it is today?
Well, definitely their dining habits have changed, especially their drinking habits. Yeah, that's the biggest one that I've noticed. When we first opened, 1996. You shouldn't drink and drive, should you? You take a risk every now and again. It was like getting caught was a bit of a bummer, but there was that kind of attitude. So people were more risk taking, and then. They had more disposable income. But I think it was also just like the culture was a lot more of a drinking culture. That era, my generation, I suppose. And then there was the corporates were partying, and there was if you spent $10, Chris, on your bill, half it would be beverage.
Right.
Now it's if you spent $10, it'd be 20. $2 or
20% of your bill.
20% would be 25% would be on the on beverage.
So has your offering had to change then when you look at the beverage side of what you offer at Logan Brown? Because look, myself, I was talking about this last night with a friend here. I haven't had a drink for 17 years.
Oh,
right. So I don't touch it. It's just a personal choice. There's no reason.
Good on you. Yeah.
But there's amazing alternatives out there. How have you had to diversify or change your, I don't know, do you still call it a wine list? I don't know,
Yeah, no, it's a beverage list, you're right, but it's, we sell quite a lot of zero beer and mocktails especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sure, people can they still have a couple of drinks, and it could be non-alcoholic, but it's a bit different when you come and have that dining experience, when you have a pre-dinner drink, and then you have wines with each course, and then you have an after dinner drink, and then maybe one more. So that in those days that people were having a full dining experience. They're having cognac to finish. Like we have we had a cigar and drinks trolley, and so under the very bottom, it's a beautiful trolley. It costs $5,000 to make. Could have bought a sports car for that.
Yeah.
But it was beautifully crafted to match our the chandelier. Do you know the chandelier at Logan Brown? Yeah. Made by the same artist and timber. But we had the liqueurs and cognacs and glasses and all perfectly designed spaces, and then the cigar trolley, and we'd wheel it round the restaurant towards the end of the evening, and so like a cigar and how about some cognac to go with it, and so people would roll prepare the cigar and cut it, and that's where Francois was. That was his forte. He'd love doing that. But so all of a sudden, people spending an extra $50, just on a cigar and a cognac. Place was full of smoke.
Yeah.
Who cared about that either?
Yeah. So are you still getting that same sort of spend, or how have you had to diversify and change?
You have to get your sales from somewhere, but it's just side dishes and extras and offering oysters and just trying to offer more of the food. Push that. But it's just, you just have to suck it up. You just have to expect that you're just going to, the spend per person's a bit less.
Yeah. Do you think that's the way the dining experience is going? People are turning away from alcohol, or I don't know, is that a trend?
It's just been
or
a transition, like for decades. It's
Yeah.
just been a transition, yeah. Especially nowadays, people are dining out a lot less, and they're spending a lot less when they dine.
Yeah.
So with less bums on seats and lower average spend. But when we do have like our 3-course set menu, $95, which is a steal, really. Homemade 3 courses with choices for $95. But that's the rent they have to pay on their seat.
Yep.
When we did a la carte, people could come in and sit for hours and just have a Coke and a steak or something like that, and occupy that seat. So that is a tactic we have used to make sure that we're getting the best the best spend out of per customer as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is really interesting, those international trends. But I do wonder where New Zealand sits on that in terms of those changes, because recently through the restaurants we've been seeing a lot more tourists, which is probably the same for you guys. But I would argue for the first time in 4 or 5 years, we're seeing tourists back through the doors from the cruise ships, and people visiting New Zealand, and people sort of starting at the north and travelling down, then they stop in Wellington for a couple of days before they hop on the ferry and explore the south. And it is my experience, even as recently as the night before last, serving a dining room full of tourists, they tend to start with a glass of bubbles with their oysters, and then they'll have a glass of wine with their entree, and then they'll drink something good with their main, and then they'll linger over dessert, and then maybe a liqueur. And it might just be that holiday energy, they're here on a holiday, and they but sometimes I wonder if it's because they come from places where, like France and Italy and Spain, those cultures, they've grown up obsessed with food and wine. It's so richly integrated into their DNA and their legacy. New Zealand doesn't quite have that same long-standing, relationship with food and wine as in the same way, and so as a result, Kiwi diners just dine a bit differently to international diners.
Yeah,
I'd
agree.
They approach the restaurant menu with a different perspective, and we're seeing that in the dining room now. And that was certainly something we noticed coming out of COVID, when there weren't any tourists, how different those dining trends were. Has that been what's been your observation?
I reckon it's I agree that in New Zealand our dining culture is not as sophisticated as overseas, or not. I don't mean that's not right. Sophisticated is not the right word, but I think people prioritise dining overseas more in those European cultures. Say, like going out, and even like Australia is all Melbourne, Sydney. Like going out and having a proper meal with their friends and family. It's something they really love to do, and they invest in it. Maybe Kiwis invest in other stuff, that's not such a priority. Maybe it's it's my birthday, we better go out and have a feed to celebrate it. Maybe it's that, but rather than like, it's an opportunity, let's go out and go crazy, let's get champagne and let's have after dinner drinks. And I think it's probably where New Zealand's a little bit different in that way. But then of course the economy's got a huge impact on that, because you just can't afford to,
No, of course.
have to minimise it. But you got all these tourists coming over here. I agree with you. They're probably in holiday mode, but also, our the exchange rate is so much in their favour.
It's cheap to dine out, and it's cheap to visit.
It is a pittance, and we talk about New Zealand, like tourism. New Zealand tourism, I think, should be really cranking up how awesome our food in New Zealand is. Like our ingredients are amazing, and unique and fresh and local, and it's produced by people that really care about what they're doing, you know, all the small producers, and it's all free range, so much free range and fair trade, and I mean, we're really good at that. But I'd love to see New Zealand, your tourism industry, sharing that story more than just the mountains and beaches and stuff like that. You
It's
know?
interesting, you know, bringing up New Zealand tourism. This is kind of, I guess, been the conversation for a lot of people in hospitality at the moment, and I kind of feel like we're dancing around it at the moment. It'll be a real interesting question for both of you, actually. How do you feel about the Michelin star? Well, sorry, the Michelin people coming to New Zealand. What's your view on that?
Yeah, or just for that reason, just it helps let the rest of the world know. I mean, if they come here and they get they've already come and said, yeah, we'll do a guide because you've got enough restaurants here to be in a guide. Mm-hmm. That's a good start. But I guess now they must be going through the country picking which ones. But if we've got, I think we've got, like, say, a lot of at least 1-star restaurants, then I think that'll be awesome, because a lot of tourists overseas, when they travel, especially we're talking about these Europeans and Asian, well-off Asian, they go, part of the experience is important part of the experience is dining, and they go, well, there's highly rated dining in this country, let's go. They'll be a big part of their decision making. But also people, when they look at New Zealand and they see we've got Michelin star restaurants, they go, well, there's obviously New Zealand is a place where there is quality, and New Zealand is a place that's worth going for, not just for the, you know, the touristy things, but also the dining. But as our reputation, as an industry, from our point of view, it's it can bring a bit of extra pride into our kitchens, and I think people who work in a kitchen that's got a, like, it's same with our hats. I wouldn't take away cuisine magazine guide hats. I think they're really awesome as well. But it gives you if someone's working in a kitchen or a restaurant like that, then they'll want to make sure they're professional and bring their passion and skills and be part of something that's high quality.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's another aspect of it that's important as well.
Yeah, I just wish New Zealand was better at its own storytelling, and we didn't have to rely on external guides to bring that same spotlight, because we do have incredible hospitality in this country, and sometimes I think we don't realise how good we are. And I wonder if that's that classic sort of, you know, self-deprecating kind of Kiwiism that most Kiwis have, where they're, you know, we don't generally shout from the rooftops when we're great at something. But from a hospitality perspective, there is so much talent in this industry across all sectors. Who's telling those stories? You know, who's broadcasting that and promoting that? It would be amazing if we were able to do that ourselves and share those incredible, you know, like even these stories, the podcast. I mean, it's half the reason the podcast was started, to bring a microphone to people like you and have you share your story. But yeah, I guess any recognition from some sort of respected guide or some sort of respected organisation, that added attention is ultimately going to be what we need, isn't it? That international spotlight.
It is, exactly, and we're not good at shouting about it, and obviously our government and tourism isn't good at shouting about our food either, even though we're like a massive food producer. You know, these people that come from overseas and they have a New Zealand lamb with a Pinot Noir, they're going to go back to their country and go buy a bottle of Pinot Noir, and they're going to, if they go to the restaurant, they're going to have New Zealand lamb because they loved it so much. So it's, that helps everyone, right? Yeah, but we I agree, we're not good at talking ourselves up, and you know, and you just think that when you listen to you talk there, it reminded me of how business has changed a lot. Like when I even at Brea Fox Cafe, I remember we won an award from the Listener magazine as one of the best BYO restaurants, I think it was, in Wellington and something like that. And you know, we were just pumping for months and months and months and months because it was in a newspaper. Yeah. But now you win Restaurant of the Year or something, or get 2 or 3 hats. You know, there's not a blimp, and it's. But what is big is you know, social media. So, you know, if we were a lot better at social media, we'd probably be a bit busy.
Yeah.
You know, but with this, it's not now really in our mindset, or my mindset.
Yeah.
I'm from a different a different generation from that, but I think that's like, we're not good at talking ourselves up. But if you can talk yourself up through social media, it's probably an opportunity and an advantage for you.
Yeah.
But it's probably, if you're not in that realm, it's another challenge for us. You could say maybe a challenge for other restaurants as well.
Yeah. So you see it as putting a positive spin on our industry here. It's giving us better exposure worldwide.
Sorry, the Michelin star.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Back
Yep.
to that. Yeah. I think it is, because we're going to be in the, we're going to be seen on the world stage for food. You know, it's, I don't know. You've maybe you could, compare it to other things like, someone is awesome in sport and golf. And puts us on the world stage. It's, Lydia Ko, was an Olympic gold medalist in golf, and wow, New Zealand does golf, and New Zealand's famous around the world for golf. But maybe when we do, people can see that we're in the start. We've got the Michelin stars. It puts us on the world map.
Yeah.
We're not, it probably isn't. Not compared to, food in Italy or Spain or Japan. Those places are famous for food, right? People go to those countries because they want to have that food experience as well.
Yeah.
So next year, 30 years for Logan Brown. Another 30 after that?
That's a question that's on my mind. Yeah.
What are your hopes and sort of desires for that restaurant in the next chapter?
Yeah. Let's see. I want the restaurant to live on. I want it to like you said, it has got its personality, and I love it to even if I'm not there, but I'd still love it to live on.
It's too iconic not to.
Yeah, and it's a great space. And I just hate to see it be Burger King or something up there. But who knows? I'm 65 now. I've been in the industry since I was 18 or something. It's in like 1970 something. Yeah, and it is different industry. It's so much more challenging for many, many reasons, especially the last few years. There's not quite, there's the joy of that I still get out of, serving guests or serving the team. Like I'm not always serving the customers in the dining room, but I'm serving them in other ways, like serving to them through the team, helping the team be great at serving them, it's me serving them, but also events and, group bookings and all that kind of thing. I'm serving the guests, but managing them. And I still love that. The best time I have is when I go down to the dining room and just walk up to someone and say, "G'day, mate, how's it going?" And just have a bit of a chin wag and talk about life, I love talking to people. It's the anniversary and there's a significant number, 30 or 40 years, and I say, so what's the, how come you're still together then? What's the story? And the stories that come out are pretty funny. Yeah, I just do as what she says. All that kind of stuff, but all sorts of cool stories. But yeah, I still really love that, and I love working with a team. But when you go in back of office and you look at the books and look at that sort of things, it's just not nearly as rewarding as it was when we first started.
Yeah. What is rewarding for you in your life right now? What kinds of things do you do to sort of fill up your own tank?
Well, I've got a 12-year-old daughter. She's pretty awesome. I was in school camp with her last week. She keeps me honest, and I've got a gorgeous, beautiful wife as well. That we have joy in the family and that. And I've got a lot of really awesome mates, really heaps of awesome mates that I catch up a lot with. And I love playing tennis. I still play inter-club tennis, and so I got my tennis mates. They don't know anything about hospitality, and there's no
crossover there.
No, there's just talk about tennis.
Yeah.
Yes.
A little bit about the cricket, or something. But that's a really good outlet. Yeah.
Do you still do much hunting, fishing?
Not really. I do fishing. Yeah. I do fishing. I organise an annual fishing trip out on the Cook Strait with different guys, 20 guys, but
Does Sean go with?
Yeah, Sean goes.
Sean's there.
Yeah. I go for the fun of it.
Camaraderie.
We always have a few beverages on board, and I'm just happy when someone catches a fish. I love seeing other people catch fish and the joy that brings them. I don't have to catch a fish.
Yeah.
Well, but I like bringing everyone together. Yeah.
Steve, it's always a delight for me to bump into you on Cuba Street, but you and I always seem to bump into each other at lunchtime.
Oh yeah,
and I think we were always searching for the same thing. You and I have spoken about this before, but where are your go-to spots on Cuba Street that you like to eat?
Yeah, I do have my regular places.
Yep.
Yeah, and just for different reasons. But I like going to Auntie Mina's. That's vegan restaurant.
Yeah,
and that's you could say it's a bit odd for Steve Logan to go there because I love my meat.
Yeah,
but it's I go there and I look after my body there. It'd be nice for the body day, and people who run it are so lovely, and I order the same thing every time, the curry noodles.
Oh, do you? I get the
Yeah.
laksa. The
Right.
laksa is life affirming.
Right,
It's incredible.
and it's really really generous and full flavour and substantial, and it's just so laid back, and you see bump into, I haven't bumped into you there before,
It's
but
odd 'cause
you
I'm
bump
there once
into
a
other
week.
people on Cuba Street,
yeah,
all the time in there, and just dining by themselves
Yep.
usually, and just having some time out.
Yeah.
I go to the kebab place up there and I have a chicken salad with 2 falafels every time.
Yep.
That's a healthy feed, low carbs, lots of greenery, lots of but it's covered in all sorts of sauces as well. So I get my bad stuff there. Yeah, and also go across the road and I have an egg foo young.
Satay Kingdom.
Satay Kingdom,
Yeah.
and I have a chicken egg foo young there as well.
Yep.
And it's like a massive omelette overlapping the plate.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
get their chili sauce, the lemon juice all over it, soy sauce over it, and it's really
And that's
filling
you.
but quite healthy as well.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you and Annette get an opportunity to go out for dinner, and you don't want to go and dine at work, where are you going?
I love WBC.
Yes.
Clay's a real awesome guy, and it's always a real slick operation there.
Mm-hmm.
They you got all the team know what they're doing, and they're really lovely hospitality. But I never go out there to find problems. I just go
Just
there
go to enjoy.
Just
Yeah,
to-
I just exactly. I always go out to enjoy what they offer, and all the food's really gorgeous, and it's the really big flavours and bold flavours, and generous and good sweet wine list. Not too big, but like plenty on there that I like. Yeah, that's a great space. When I dine out, people ask me a lot when I dine out, about what I think, but I know if everything's perfect, it's almost a small miracle has just occurred.
Yes.
There's so many moving parts, and it's so human. To get it right, it's just pretty awesome. I go, yeah, that's fantastic. Good on you. I know what it's like. So, I think unfortunately some people have a mindset. They go, a compliment is, I couldn't fault the place. And they're going, shut up. Why are you trying to fault the place? Why
Yeah,
not just appreciate what they're
yes.
doing?
Yeah, yeah.
And say thank you. So, but I haven't been to Capitol for a while, but I love Capitol as well, and probably go to Ortega Fish Shack
Yeah.
a lot as well.
Yeah. Fantastic
Nice.
hospitality from those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
And I'd love to know, this is maybe a question I should have asked right up top, but like what's on your mind the most these days?
I go, like, I know how many times a day I look at the bookings app on my phone,
Yeah.
and I'm just looking weeks out and just looking at these spaces and going, how are we going to fill them, or are they going to fill up?
Right.
Yeah, it's just gaps, and we need to fill them up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's probably like a sad thing to say, but I'd say that's probably what most restauranteurs
Well, you're just
are
keeping
doing.
your eye on the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's absolutely.
exactly, yeah.
I do the same thing. Which
Yeah.
software do you use? We use now Book It.
It's Aviv.
Oh, Aviv, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do the same thing. Check the app. It's just keeping your eye on the ball, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
seeing what's coming down the line.
Yeah.
And we're coming into the busy season, so
Yeah.
that comes with its own pressures. Nice to be busy, but
Yeah.
intense, an
It is.
intense time of year.
It is, but it's like if you've got lots of bookings,
Yeah.
I'm a happy man.
Absolutely.
But if I haven't got lots of bookings, it's
a nerve-wracking
It
time.
is nerve-wracking time.
Have you got a break planned for the end of the year?
Yes, yep. We've got a family batch down in the Marlborough Sounds.
Oh, incredible.
So we go down there, and it's your boat access only. So it's kind of like going camping. You have to get pretty organised, and I love all the logistics of all that. Getting it organised and make sure you've got plenty of good food and wine and
You catch some cod.
and some box, catch some cod, or not. Yeah.
Or not. I mean, you're in the Marlborough Sounds. So
Yeah.
you could just be there and do nothing.
Yeah, I don't have any gaps in the chili bin because I don't rely on catching cod. But we'll do a little bit of fishing. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, fab. Hey, Steve, this has been an absolute pleasure chatting to you today. A little bit awestruck having you in the hot seat today.
Sorry if I burbled on so much.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
It's just been really insightful hearing from you, because you don't often you're not you're a very private person, and you don't often you tend to be head down, sort of bum up at the restaurant, just chugging away. And I would say probably out of the two of you, Sean's more of the public facing personality. He does that role.
He's got
well.
a lot of personality. He's got different personality.
It's just wonderful to hear the stories. Logan Brown is an icon. It's a real jewel in the crown of Wellington. You should be immensely proud of what you've created. It's such an enduring legacy at that restaurant. And it's no surprise that it's been such a success, because you've been at the helm, and your dedication to hospitality from 18 years old to the tender age of 65 is so evident. So thank you so much for taking the time to share this incredible story with us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. It was good fun. Thank you.
The Kitchen Day podcast is recorded and produced by John O'Tucker at Empire Films. We film here at Loretta, where we get to hear incredible stories from some of New Zealand's most talented front of house professionals. If you enjoyed today's conversation and you know somebody else who might like to hear it too, I would love it if you would share it with them, or better yet, hit subscribe. It's a little thing like that that helps us to continue to bring these stories to you in season 2 and beyond. Thank you so much for listening today. Have a great service.